What is going on, everyone? Scions here with the Everyday Grind. I hope you have all had a fantastic week, and I hope that you are all living your very best lives. It's been a great day today. It's been a great week. I was outside in the sun. It's crazy. It's 70 degrees outside. I really don't know what to do with myself, but I do know what I want to talk about. In this week's video, we're going to talk about something that I think is very important, especially for a new player getting into the Elder Scrolls Online. And again, some of what I'm going to talk about is Elder Scrolls Online specific. Other games have different builds and values put into them. So let's talk about build guides. And build guides sometimes are not all they're cracked up to be, especially in a game like the Elder Scrolls Online. Again, they're guides. They're suggested guidelines than actual rules. And in the Elder Scrolls Online, you can change builds up a little bit and either increase your DPS or, depending on what's going on in the fight, change up some specs and talents and all of those things. And we're going to go over a little bit for the new player, why you look at the guide and then what you can do as a new player to maybe tweak the guide to make you a better player because you synergize with the gameplay a little bit. So here we go. Build guides, not all they're cracked up to be. Let's go. So let's take a look at one of my most favorite characters, my Dritz Do'Urden build. This is a Stamina Nightblade. And again, you're going to see some of the things that I've chosen for my front and back bar as far as what I think it's going to take for me to maximize DPS, what I feel good about with a Stamina Nightblade. But not all of my choices necessarily agree with what's on the builds because it's a build guide. These are build guides. This is not the Bible. This is not something that is concrete. And in a game like the Elder Scrolls Online, it's subject to change and you have to be ready for those changes. So let's take a look here. So here you see my front bar setup, and there's a reason why I have the Fighters Guild up here right now. Relentless Focus you see on all the builds. Bloodthirst you see on all the builds. The next one, Killer's Blade, you see on most all of the builds. Steel Tornado you do not. You do not. Deadly Cloak you see on all the builds, and of course Incapacitating Strike on the front bar. You see that on just about every build out there. Back bar, here's where it changes. Barb Trap I'm sold on. Endless Hail, it's a standard. Here we go. Here come the changes. Consuming Trap. Not necessarily agreeing with this when there's a lot of mob movement specifically. You've got Dark Shade. That's standard. You've got, again, Resolving Vigor. There's your heal. Coming up next. I agree with that. It's a lot of heal. And then here's another change. Incapacitating Strike, which veers away from some other builds. So we're going to take a look at a couple other websites that show builds, and we're going to talk about changes, and you're going to see some different theologies here. So here we go. Here's one build here. This is, again, dungeon trial setup. You've got your trap, your strikes, your Killer's Blade, your Relentless Focus. Agreed. Oh, look at this. Camouflage Hunter. Camouflage Hunter. Where did that come from? I'm not sold on that specifically. And then you've got Incapacitating Strike back bar. There's your Endless Hail, your Dark Shade, Resolving Vigor, like I said. So Leeching Strikes is the next one. I've seen that on a couple builds. I'm not specifically sold on that exactly. Again, Camouflage Hunter and Incapacitating Strike, which when we look at the next build, you're not going to see some of these things. Again, build guides are up to interpretation, but some things are standard. So here we go. Here's another guide. Barb Trap, Deadly Cloak. We didn't see that on the last one. Shrouded Daggers. Not sold on that one specifically. Killer's Blade. Okay, we've seen that. Relentless Focus. Incapacitating Strike. Again, you're seeing some of the same things. Endless Hail is there. Dark Shade. Then we've got Consuming Trap, which, let's stop right there. Consuming Trap, I don't necessarily agree with Consuming Trap when you have a lot of mob movement or boss movement because they move out of the trap. Why wouldn't you use, again, it may not be as much DPS, but it will probably do more DPS. Razor Caltrops. Why wouldn't you use that? As they're running through, they're taking damage. If he runs out of your trap, if the boss runs out or a mob runs out of this Consuming Trap, you're done, right? Caltrops has a much broader range. So depending on the fight, I may change up to that. So again, it's up to how you play, and these are not set in stone. Let's continue. There's Consuming a trap. There's the leeching strikes again. I might add that at some point, but I don't know. Resolving vigor, there you go. And look at this. Here's another change. Flawless Dawnbreaker. Flawless Dawnbreaker. Maybe. I mean, it just depends, right? It just depends. And this is someone else's interpretation of what they think is the best. And you have to decide for yourself as a player, you know, does this synergize with my gameplay? Am I dying too much because I'm trying to keep all this stuff up? You know, what are you going to maximize as a player? And I think that's hugely important. And we're going to take a look at some dungeon gameplay here, because I think it's important that you see how I change things. So again, Alliance War, you go to Assault, Razor Caltrops. Razor Caltrops, I really think right now is undervalued. So let's take a look at some of the dungeon gameplay, and we'll get into exactly what I'm talking about here. So here we are in a dungeon, and I know that right now I have Consuming Trap. I know I have that, and I'm going to test it, Consuming Trap, out on one of these mobs right here. That's my back bar. That's my number 3. And I'm going to bounce between Razor Caltrops and Consuming Trap, and we're going to see. And if you look at my DPS, again, it depends on how many mobs are there. There's a lot of factors here, right? You have to remember that a lot of these guides are built off of dummies, right? Dummies in somebody's housing or wherever they're recording their damage. There's a lot of part and parcel here. So there, I looked at it. Okay, great. I took a look at it. Well, guess what I'm going to do now? I'm going to move that to Razor Caltrops, because again, that group of mobs stayed exactly where it needed to stay, where I could take the benefit of Consuming Trap. But now I know mobs are going to move at this point, and they're going to move, and the bosses are going to move. So Razor Caltrops, if the boss is more stationary, you're going to take the more stationary trap. But see, look at the damage there. Look at how much space Razor Caltrops takes. That's a lot of space, man. And I'm telling you that you're not going to be hitting those back mobs, you know, as a group with Consuming Trap. You're just not. It's not as wide. So why not take the extra possible DPS? And again, they have to move through it, right? If the mobs are stunned, or you know, they're not moving, they're not going to take any damage. That's the bad thing about Razor Caltrops. However, I'm having a good time here, and I'm just mashing things up. And you can see that Razor Caltrops, it's still on the ground. Look at the range of that right now. Consuming Trap, not so much. And right here, we're going to roll into the first boss. Now, I tried to change it here, but I didn't have enough time, because they actually pulled the boss. But it was actually a good thing, because again, Razor Caltrops, for me, coming in off of this boss, he summons ads that runs right through him. Look at that. Look at that guy in the back running right through. So mobs are running right through. They have to come to the Consuming Trap. They just have to clip Razor Caltrops. So again, that's my take on it. That's what I think is the best for this. If you want to min-max, right? If you want to min-max, you're thinking about being the best of the best, or you want to look at some other things. Maybe you don't agree with this, and that's okay. We're going to take a look at this. So I was pretty happy here, and we're going to go next to a boss where I used specifically Consuming Trap, and you're going to kind of see how, you know, the boss moved out of it, and it just wasn't a good thing for me. This is the final boss of the instance, and I did change to Consuming Trap for this boss. So look at my mistake here by following a build guide specifically, right? So here we go. You can see it. There it is on my back bar. Number 3, boom, I laid it down. Oh, the boss is up in the air. He's already moved. He's already moved out of the trap. Now, if I had been using Razor Caltrops, maybe I do a little bit more damage, right? Maybe the taking damage of Consuming Trap isn't enough to put it into my build, because the boss moves too much. So like I've been trying to let you guys know as players, build guides are just that. They're guides. They're not really rules, and they're not really hard and fast guidelines. Again, everything changes, right? A new build may come out. There's going to be changes. That's the beauty of the Elder Scrolls Online, is there's plenty of changes. You can run just about any setup you want. Again, some setups are better than others, and there are some definite guidelines that you should follow in these guides. But you know, on this build here, I'm not using Leeching Strikes, I'm not using Dawnbreaker, I'm just using Incapacitating Strike, and I'm okay with that. I am just fine with that. It's a group dungeon. You know, this is not a vet dungeon because I'm testing some things out. This is a normal dungeon, but I'm pretty happy with the results where I had changes to the actual build guide. I think that's important. You know, look at the guides, but do some critical thinking on your own. Tell yourself, let yourself learn some things. Go into a dungeon and test it. Hey, does this work? Does this not work? Then you'll know. And again, remember, if you synergize with a specific type of gameplay and you can make an ability work, you could and you should. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thanks for watching this video, everyone. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I stream on Twitch. I stream every day except Thursday and Sunday. Come on in, hang out. We can talk about build guides. We can talk about other games. It's a great, fast growing community. I appreciate you guys so much. So again, that's it for me, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.